Hello everyone, welcome back to the MrCoin channel. After the bad news toward the end of last week, specifically the week from July 28th to August 3rd, when the FOMC announced that the Fed still wasn't ready to cut interest rates, and then Trump slapped very high tariffs on many countries around the world, the market took a sharp drop. But in recent days and from late last week up to now, the crypto market, including both Bitcoin and altcoins, has turned green again. Bitcoin is now trading above $120,000, and ETH has broken the $4,000 resistance level, moving closer to its previous all-time high from 2021. Many of the top 100 coins by market cap have also seen notable growth over the past 7 days. For example, XRP is up around 8%, BNB is up 5%, Solana is up 10%. Hyperliquid, a new coin that has quickly entered the top market cap rankings, has jumped about 20%. Chainlink has been particularly strong, rising roughly 30% in the past week. On social media, especially X, sentiment has been extremely bullish. Some analysts have pointed out that, even with this market growth, there are no major on-chain indicators suggesting we've reached the top. This means many still believe the altcoin market has more room to grow in the near future. And yes, plenty of funny videos are making the rounds too. When the market dropped, bearish voices were loud. Now, with this strong rally, those same bearish traders might be staying a bit quieter. Some videos even show the panic of people shorting ETH, basically trolling those shorting Bitcoin, ETH, or the market in general.
خلاص 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 كلش اوكي.
All right, back to today's main content. I'll be breaking down 3 main points. Has altcoin season truly arrived yet? If it has, how big could it be? And is there a chance for 10x or even 100x gains like in previous cycles? When would be the right time to take profits? We'll focus on these 3 in today's analysis. But before we answer them, we need to take a quick look at the technicals and some market news so we understand the broader picture. For Bitcoin, looking at the yearly chart, each candle here represents 12 months. It's clear the yearly structure is still bullish. We've been rising steadily since early 2023, with 3 consecutive bullish yearly candles so far. But this sustained rise has left 2 technical zones that haven't been retested yet. First is the order block from 2022, with an upper bound around $48,000. In the last cycle, for example, there was an order block in 2018 that got retested in 2022 before the current uptrend began. The 2022 block, however, still hasn't been retested. Second is a liquidity imbalance zone between $44,000 and $74,000. Price often returns to test such imbalance areas. So to the question, could Bitcoin drop back to $70,000 or $80,000? Yes, technically it's possible, but more likely, such a retest would happen only after the current uptrend ends and we enter a downtrend. In other words, there's probably more upside first before any deep pullback to those zones. On the monthly chart, switching to a line chart, you'll see a clear higher high, higher low structure that began in December 2022. Right after the FTX collapse when fear was extreme. Many thought Bitcoin would crash to $10,000, but it bottomed around $15,000 to $16,000 and has been climbing ever since. Through 2023, 2024, and now more than 8 months into 2025. Now, how high could this uptrend go? One way to estimate is with Fibonacci extensions, since at new highs we can't rely on traditional resistance levels. Measuring from the December 2022 low to the September 2023 high, the next major extension level, 2.618, comes in around $159,000. Using the more recent wave from August 2024 to April 2025 gives a 1.0 extension near $165,000. Combining this with a trend line drawn across previous highs and considering the 4-year cycle pattern, The peak could come in November or December this year, possibly around $158,000 to $168,000. On the weekly chart, the structure is also bullish. If you're a short-term trader using margin or futures, the RR method gives two main setups. Setup 1. Wait for Bitcoin to break above the current all-time high around 122,000 to 123,000. Then buy the retest. Setup 2. If Bitcoin fails to break the all-time high and pulls back, look for buys at support zones around 116,000 to 117,000, 113,000 to 115,000, or 107,000 to $111,000. Personally, I prefer Setup 1. A clean breakout and retest gives a clearer entry than juggling multiple potential supports. And remember, trading with the trend is key. All three major time frames, yearly, monthly, weekly, are bullish, so focus on longs rather than shorts. For longer-term spot investors, the weekly chart still supports the uptrend. MA lines are aligned bullishly, with faster MAs above slower ones. However, RSI is showing weakening momentum, a bearish divergence compared to early 2023 or 2024, which fits the idea that Bitcoin may peak late this year. So if you're investing long-term and waiting for extreme fear to buy cheap spot, now is not that phase. If you bought in past years, this could be a time to start scaling out toward year-end. Before we get to altcoins, let's quickly check the macro news. In the July 29th to 30th FOMC meeting, the Fed again left rates unchanged and hasn't cut rates once this year. The next meeting is September 16th to 17th, and many expect the first cut of 2025. That decision will depend on two key indicators: core PCE inflation, currently at 2.8%. If it falls closer to 2%, that supports a cut. U.S. unemployment rate, if it spikes sharply, that also pressures the Fed to cut. PCE data comes August 29th, and unemployment non-farm payrolls arrive September 5th. Inflation is trending lower, unemployment is trending higher. Both favor a cut. Powell himself is cautious and always says decisions depend on data, but other Fed officials like Kashkari and Daly have openly called for cuts. Trump is even more aggressive, urging the Fed to cut and even suggesting the FOMC should override Powell if needed. For crypto news, a major development came August 7th, when Trump signed an order allowing 401k retirement funds, covering about 90 million Americans, to invest in alternative assets like real estate, private equity, and crypto. The 401k market is huge, worth $8.7 trillion as of March 31st, 2025, more than double crypto's total market cap. If just 5% of that went into Bitcoin, it would be $435 billion, almost 3 times the inflows Bitcoin ETFs have seen since January 2024, which already helped BTC triple from $40,000 to $120,000. Add in other U.S. retirement funds worth $43 trillion, plus global assets held by governments, corporations, and wealthy individuals. Crypto is still tiny by comparison, so the long-term inflow potential remains high. Now, what to altcoins? Our 3 questions. Is altcoin season here? How big could it be? When to take profits? Altcoin season is when capital floods into altcoins, pushing prices up massively. One indicator is Bitcoin dominance. When it drops sharply, it means altcoins are gaining share. Bitcoin dominance has hit long-term resistance and turned down in July, with August also looking weak. This hints altcoin season may be forming, but dominance alone isn't enough. I also watch Total 2, total altcoin market cap excluding BTC. Total 2 is now near major resistance at $1.6 trillion to $1.7 trillion. I believe altcoin season will truly begin only if Total 2 breaks above this level, at which point it could rise quickly. Watching the August or September monthly close will give stronger confirmation. As for 10x or 100x returns, like 2017 or 2021, realistically, from current levels, large-cap altcoins may only 2x or 3x at best. My upside targets for Total 2 are $2.3 trillion and $3.07 trillion. In the most optimistic case, if Bitcoin hits $160,000 and dominance falls to 35%, Altcoins could reach approximately $5.9 trillion total, about 3 to 4x from here. For small caps and hidden gems, 10x or 100x is still possible, but they're harder to find and much riskier. The current market lacks the retail FOMO and viral trends, DeFi, GameFi, move to earn, of past cycles. This cycle's flows are more institutional. Finally, on profit taking. For large cap altcoins that move with BTC, late 2025, likely November or December, is the probable peak if the 4-year cycle holds. For true hidden gems with long-term infrastructure potential, like ETH a decade ago or BNB 8 years ago, the strategy is different. Hold through market cycles and focus on the project's real growth in volume and users. Selling too early based on macro or TA alone could mean missing the big move. That's my take for today's video. Thanks for watching. I wish you all success and great results in the crypto market. See you in the next one.